What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Free UFC Bet Picks Live. We're here talking about UFC versus McGregor III. Really exciting fight. Anything you want to say before we get right into it here?
It's been the longest week of my life waiting for this. My God, we are so ready.
All right. We want to jump right in. Okay, get into the prelims and work our way up like always.
Yeah.
Almost dropped my notes. All right, first up, we've got a middleweight bout between Alen Amerdovski and Yaozong. Amerdovski is 8-2. All 8 of those wins have been finishes, but in the UFC, he's gone 0-2. Going up against Yaozong, he's 3-2, and in the UFC, 0-2 as well. Yaozong does have a 5-inch height advantage here, but his reach is actually 2 inches shorter than Amerdovski. So that's a little interesting. Thought it was worth mentioning as well that Yaozong has fought at a few different weight classes. When his first fight in the UFC, he was heavy, then went to light heavy, and now we're fighting at middle in this fight. So definitely one to watch at weigh-ins there. As far as odds go, we've got Amerdovski, the favorite, at -154, and Yaozong, the underdog, at +120. How do you see this one going?
That's a great breakdown by you so far. Yaozong is a very popular underdog pick this week. As you said, he's a big dude. He was never – so you got like these Jared Cannonier types where they cut down in weight and they go from being a little thick to being like super shredded. That's not the case here. He's kind of like a big, pudgy dude. And now he's finally fighting at his correct weight class, and he's not like shredded, and we haven't seen the weigh-ins yet. And on his Instagram, on his social media, he's not posting any pictures of himself, which I like. I know he's working. He recently joined Tiger Muay Thai, great gym, one of the best gyms in the world. And if you watch their stories every day, like it degenerate. Like if you watch gym Instagram stories every day of your life, then one thing is that Yaozong actually looks like trim. He's looking shredded. And what's funny is even back in the day, he wasn't like fat like a Tai Tuivasa, or he wasn't like thick. He's thin and pudgy. Like what's the opposite of like slim thick? Like he's the opposite of slim thick. He's like pudgy scrawny.
Yeah.
He's like pudgy scrawny.
You made a great opposite to that one, so I can't remember what it was now.
It's something scrawny, like something scrawny. He's not slim thick. He's like,
it'll come to me.
He's pudgy scrawny. Yeah, later in the middle of a different breakdown.
Yep, I'm gonna shout it.
So it's interesting. What was crazy though, he was incredibly athletic. He's in there throwing high, like flying knees and like really athletic strikes. It's kind of tough to find tape of him, but that's what you do at 3 a.m, when the dog wakes you up. And so, he's really athletic, and he won a 3-round fight. I think the one I'm recalling, it was a long, grueling fight, but I think he finished the guy in the 3rd round, and he does like a front handspring. So he's really athletic. So yeah, tons of unknowns. Amerdovski, short little muscle shark that gasses out. He likes to brawl. All of his wins are by finish. And this seems to be an exciting fight. Like for DFS, the first fight of the night often is a high scorer. Yeah. So I kind of like both sides for DFS. But for betting on this, there's just so many unknowns. Yaozong's been out like 2.5 years because of USADA stuff. Amerdovski's been out like almost 2 years. And so, you have to assume that Yaozong's improved a lot over that time. He's the younger, bigger guy, and he's at a really good gym. So he's a very popular underdog pick, but for some reason, a couple days ago, I would think that by this time, this would be an even money pick 'em line, because I like Yaozong. I picked him on Patreon like earlier in the week, and now like more and more predictions have come out and everyone's on him.
Yeah.
But the line hasn't moved. Like there's some really smart money coming in on Amerdovski, and there's so many unknowns. It's just like, don't do it to yourself. Like this is so early in the night. Like you should be getting lit watching this fight. Don't bet on this. I want to had a note that earlier in the week, I was like, well, this fight's not going to go to the judges. Clearly, both these guys are like finishers and head straight up in the air. Yaozong doesn't gas, but Amerdovski gasses. So it has like not to go to the judges written all over it, but money's pouring in on that. And the more I've thought about it, like neither one of these guys has elite finishing ability. They, again, Yaozong doesn't gas, and I think he's going to come in and kill it. Like I hate to just be another Yaozong underdog person, but I am. And I was earlier in the week, and I thought I beat the line, but the line hasn't moved, and that scares me, like I said. So people that know me know I repeat myself a lot. So, like, if this line gets wild to go to get, ended inside the distance, I might play, like, the overs and the fight to go to the judges because, like I said, they don't have elite finishing ability. So,
right.
But it's going to be a pretty exciting fight. The official pick is the underdog, Yaozong.
And as far as DFS, what do you think in there? We've got Amerdovski at 9,000 and Yaozong at 7,200.
That's insane. So you guys know how thin this line is. Last we have it look, Alen is minus 156, Yaozong's plus 122.
Yeah.
And that's on FanDuel with these crazy juice lines they added. Like FanDuel used to do, I remember Aldana versus Holly Holm was minus 108, minus 108. It was like, which is like the freest money, thank you, Holly, ever. And now these lines are like, they have like a 30-point margin between them. FanDuel is juicing these UFC lines because like my brother is stealing all their money and stuff. Like they're like scared of MMA betting. I swear to God, the pick'em lines now, they used to be minus 108 because they were incentivizing people to bet on MMA, and now they're not. So anyway, this is like an incredibly close line, minus 156, plus 122 on the underdog Yaozong. That's a crazy wide line on DFS.
Yeah.
And
I agree. 9,000 is one of the highest prices.
Yeah. Well, that's insane.
And 7,200 is very low for only being a plus 120.
Yeah. So definitely value on Yaozong on DFS. The thing is, I suppose one part of the pricing that makes it fair is that Amerdovski is a finisher and Yaozong's not as much. But I think they're reading too much into that. I think mad value on Yaozong, like she said.
Yeah. Before we move on, I want to check our chats just in case anyone.
Yeah. What do you think about who decision plus 600?
Ooh.
I think that's, my God, that's really good value. Good look.
That is.
Homa, Mini, Buxter Sons. Most of the paid experts, we just give you the paid experts picks, and most of them were on the Suns. So, but there's so many unknowns in that series too. If you just bet on NBA underdogs all playoffs, you killed it. It's like it's not even. You can't analyze it. It's just the underdogs always win because the NBA wants to make the series. They want ratings. They need game 7s or at least game 5s. So it's like ridiculous bullshit.
Yeah.
Jesus, thank you, Chase. Oh, my dude. His chin is good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you that. Like, so Yaozong, seriously, he's in there. He's really exciting. He might, in the UFC, wants Chinese or like, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that because I actually don't know what country he's from. But he's Asian. Clearly, they want Asian fans. They tried hype. They fucking Dana White was so mad when Rose came through. Like we said, where's JR MMA at? Yeah, pussy. All right, yeah. So yeah, his chin is like this fight is gonna be pretty exciting, and Yaozong is really exciting fighter. Like I swear, he's throwing flying knees, doing somersaults. He's sick, and now we're seeing him at his true weight class. For the first fight of the night, I would say just enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on to our next one. It is a flyweight bout between Jerome Rivera and Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Rivera at a record of 10-5 in the UFC. He's 0-3. To be fair, though, he has faced some pretty tough competition so far in the UFC. He has bounced around a few weight classes as well. Bantam to fly, and then up to feather, and then we're back down to flyweight for this one. So another one to watch at weigh-ins here. Also, I noted we should probably pay attention to the face-off here because Rivera is supposed to be 6-inch height and reach advantage. So interested to see how much bigger he really is. Going up against Zhumagulov, who is 13-5. He is 0-2 in the UFC. He's a well-rounded fighter. but he's lost a lot of his recent fights, and I'm looking at the money line and wondering why it's so wide, honestly. They're both on a losing streak. I mean, I'm just a little confused about the money line here, but what do you think again? My Rivera at plus 290.
Yep. Yeah, so you're right. Like it's this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like a line should only be this wide if it's a fighter you know really well,
exactly,
and a fighter who's extremely bad. We'll get to it, but the O'Malley line is extremely wide. This line is extremely wide.
Yeah.
So it started out at 400, then it got to like minus 410. Mm-hmm. Now I've seen it dip back down. I've seen it like minus 370. Some money's coming in on Jerome Rivera. Mm-hmm. What's Zhalgas' game? He's a good fighter. He likes to go for takedowns. He's got kind of like wing. He's very short, so he has to have kind of like a Joe Frazier style. He's just in there throwing wing shots to get you to, pick up your hands, and then he goes for level changes. He's going to take you down. Mm-hmm. Jerome Rivera is like the taller jiu-jitsu star. And like we've said, like, so Derek Menner, like multiple times has come through where there's like a huge Mearshart. Like there's so many times it's just a huge, longer jiu-jitsu player where the other guy's path to victory is to take him down. It just doesn't make any sense. Money started to come in on Jerome. Obviously he's terrible. Like Zhalgas is 0-2 in the UFC, but like he looked really good against really good competition.
Yeah.
Rivera's 0-3. He looked really bad against really good competition. They keep putting him in against studs, and he gets knocked out. The thing is, the last time he got knocked out was very fast for like 20, like under a minute.
Yeah.
And it was up. He was supposed to fight at 135. He took a short notice fight. It was at 145. So you get knocked out at 145 where you don't have to cut weight. Now you're coming down to 125, your natural weight. I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Except you just got knocked out 20 pounds up. The guy's bigger, yes, but like, so there's multiple variables here, but you can't just fade Rivera like he's a total scrub. You cannot just fade him like he's a total scrub.
Right.
Unless you're playing a guy that is way better than Zhalgas. So money's been coming in on Jerome. This is just a total pass. I've got like a wild parlay, like $100 to win 97,000. It's got like, 8 fights. It doesn't have Zhalgas and it doesn't have O'Malley. Believe it or not. Like, that's how I'm not betting Jerome. The official pick is Zhalgas. But if that tells you anything, in the wildest parlay I got, it doesn't include Zhalgas.
Yeah.
And you would think it would.
Should we? And DFS. What are you thinking there? Pass as well, or we've got 6,900 for Rivera and Zhumagulov at 9,300.
So this fight has decision written all over it. Zhalgas at 9,300, I don't think is safe at all. Mm-hmm. Maybe like in a cash game where you're just looking for guaranteed winners, but no, I think Zhalgas is a complete pass, and I think Rivera is an okay like GPP play where you're looking for just like wild, unpredictable bullshit.
Right.
Jerome Rivera winning by armbar from guard. And a lot of you will know what that reference refers to. That's what this type of fight like means to me. And, but Rivera, I think is okay GPP play. But this fight's going to decision. Zhalgas is way too pricey at 9,300. There's so many amazing fights on this card. Yeah. Pass on DFS for sure.
For sure. All right. Check the chats really quick before we move on to
we're going to go a little faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. The heights. Oh my God. Yeah, and so what happens in UFC, the video game, which is the worst freaking video game ever, they get these insanely ridiculous heights too. It's so silly. Promotion of, all right, Mason, my dude. Anyone like the FanDuel promotion of McGregor or Poirier first round knockout? I mean, like that's highly predictable. So I don't know what the promo is. That if that's plus money, then yeah, that seems like a super obvious fun play. All right, they fought twice. The first fight ended inside a minute. We'll get to. I shouldn't even go into it. God.
Yeah, we'll get into all
but I gotta answer it. But because they asked and they're here, appreciate you. So the first fight ended like inside a minute. The second fight ended at like 7 minutes and 32 seconds, like 2 seconds over the 1.5. So the 1.5 was the line here. Now the over 1.5 has been steamed in the Conor fight. Everyone expects it to go over 1.5. What that means? Everyone expects Dustin to win. And so it's the first round knockout. When they offer those promos, it's often an indication of something on which the money is not coming in. So they're like, oh fuck, everyone's hip to the over 1.5. What do? We promo the first round knockout.
Makes sense.
Just a word to the wise. So that's often because money's not coming in on it. And that's not just my opinion here. That's an empirical facts. So yeah, because now the over 1.5 is like -2 something. It's close. Now it gets to the point where I'd stay away from that over 1.5. Yeah, Chase. But so it's interesting, but because early in the week the over 1.5 is like genius. The over 1.5 is like so money, but it's been steamed. So Mason, I kind of want to play that because I want to root for it. So in other sports, they say life's too short to bet the under. You don't want to bet the under in basketball or football and root for defense. In MMA, it's the opposite. Life's too short to bet the over. You want to root for the under, the finishes. So I like it. I might play that first round, promo just because we all want to root for that first round finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Our next one up here is a middleweight bout between Brad Tavares and Omari Akhmedov. Both these guys been in the UFC a long time. Tavares with a record of 18-6, a UFC record of 11-5. Akhmedov record of 21-5, 1 draw. UFC record of 9-4, 1 draw. Both of these guys coming off of a win. As far as the lines go, we've got Tavares as the favorite, -180, and Akhmedov as the underdog at +140. What are you thinking about this one?
You got Brad Tavares. He's got more skills. I like Omari, but he's just been gassing too clearly. Yeah. He only has one path to victory. He throws big winging shots. He's powerful, but his path to victory is to lay on top in guard. Brad Tavares has like elite takedown defense, way better striking, way flashier for the judges. I'm heavy on Brad Tavares. I wanted to play Brad Tavares by decision because both these guys are like decision monsters, but literally I think Brad Tavares around 3 props might be fun. And, I think the money line's fair enough. I think playing Brad Tavares to win is fair. A lot of folks are on Omari, and I get it. There's a path to victory, but man, Brad Tavares, is not going to get held down for 7 minutes of this fight. He's just not. And for the 8 minutes, I think way more than 8 minutes that he's standing up, he's going to be killing on the feet. Big on Brad. What are the DFS prices?
DFS is Tavares at 8,600 and Akhmedov at 7,600.
I think in cash games I like Brad, but I do think that it's probably going to go to decision, so I'd probably have a low exposure on this fight. But Brad's an okay play in my opinion. Right. And I guess in GPP, when you need that punt play, you need some, but even if Akhmedov wins, it's going to be by an incredibly low scoring DFS decision, right? So when you're looking for punt plays, you want to look for these finishers, and I think there's better options. Akhmedov's a complete pass, which means I'm so fucking cold in UFC lately. Akhmedov's going to round 1 knockout. Lock it in. But yeah, my brain says Akhmedov is a complete pass in DFS. Recency says round 1 KO.
All right, moving on to the next fight here. It's going to be a women's flyweight bout between Jennifer Maia and Jessica Ai. Jennifer Maia with a record of 18-7, 1 draw. In the UFC, she's gone 3-3. She has faced some serious tough competition, though. Going up against Jessica Ai with a record of 15-9, 1 no contest. UFC, she's gone 5-8, 1 no contest. Lines, we've got Maia as the favorite, -205, and Ai as the underdog, +158. And both these fighters are coming off of a loss into this fight. How are you seeing this one going down?
I like Jennifer Maia a lot. Admittedly, we all just there's 2 fights. She was good before. When you go back and watch tape, Jennifer Maia was always good. But we all love her because she kicked JoJo's ass, and then she won a round versus Valentina. And she, it was a good respectable fight against Valentina. But the Liz Carmouche fight, she beats up, like she just does. She's tossing around Jennifer Maia. It's really insane. Like,
yeah.
So there's some performances by Jennifer Maia that just like give you pause big time. Jessica Ai, on the other hand, has all the experience. She's got the experience. Like, her resume is way better than Jennifer Maia's. But when people that know and listen to her, it's just like her head is never in the game. She complains every fight about, I have to make weight. Like, she's her head's just not in the game. In women's MMA, when these fights are going to go to decision probably, and like Jessica Ai is smart and knows how to squeak out around there, like you don't want to, kick yourself later for being like, oh, I picked against her because her head's not in the game. She has a lot of skills, but if you take all the noise out and you just look at their skills, I think Jennifer Maia is the better fighter. I've got Jennifer Maia in pretty much every parlay. Jennifer Maia, like if I had to pick one, just like lock, God damn it, now she's going to lose. Like, I think Jennifer Maia is really good, a really, really good fighter. And I think she's better than Jessica Ai, and I think Jessica Ai's head's not in the game. DFS, pass on both. Yeah.
They're both pretty pricey. Maia 8,800 and I at 7,400. So.
Yeah, I think it's pass on both. Jessica Ai's not going to come in here and finish Jennifer Maia at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Pasadena.
All right. Our next one is a middleweight bout between Dricus du Plessis and Trevin Giles. Dricus at 15-2 in his record. In the UFC, he's gone 1-0. Trevin Giles 14-2, and in the UFC, he's gone 5-2. Both these fighters are coming off of a 3-fight win streak right now. And the odds have du Plessis at -118 and Giles at -108. Pick 'em fight right now. Hard to choose. What are you thinking here?
It's a tough one. Yeah. So I'll just tell you right now, I think you should probably bet the underdog Giles. I'm on Dricus, but like the more I've thought about it and watched, and I just I'm a little sketched out. So I came in thinking Dricus has got the finishing ability. He's got the submissions. We all know that Giles gets gas and gets subbed, right? It's an easy narrative. Giles is heavy on his front leg, and Dricus is going to just pepper that leg all day, right? But, oh, man, it's like Giles has the better wrestling. If they're in tight, Giles has the better boxing. I'm like, I think, it's a big cage. Dricus is going to dance around. But, man, and so it's just a really tough one. The line indicates it's basically a pick 'em. But the more I think about it, it's just like Giles has fought better fighters. He's only lost by kind of fluky way, you could say. I picked against Giles last time and I was wrong. So I'm a little like shot worn, I'm like shop worn or whatever the phrase is. Like, I'm like a little concerned about it for that reason, probably. But, last time I was heavy on du Plessis against Marcus Perez and he didn't look great, but then he came through and finished. He caught him behind the ear. Oh, this is the thing. Like, so people are like, oh, he caught Marcus Perez behind the ear. It's fluky. He like aims for it. You can tell when he's throwing hooks, he's not aiming to like clip the chin. He's aiming for like the temple and behind the ear. It's really mean in a good way. Like it's not lucky. I'm telling you, like it's like he does it on purpose. You'll see it if you keep your eye open for it. It's really intentional. And when he throws straight punches, they're at the chin, and when he throws hooks, they're like at the ear. So, man, but I just think I'm biased because I've already bet him. I'm telling you, Giles is really gritty. All the knocks on him are easy. It's like he has bad fight IQ. So he hurt Jared Miroshark and then stays in his guard. His mistakes are easily fixable. You think what are the easiest things to fix? Stupid decisions and cardio. Well, those are his downfalls. So my pick is du Plessis, and I think I just can't wait to watch this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good one to watch. All right, DFS.
Prices?
Yeah, so we've got du Plessis at 8,200 and Giles at 8,000. Very close prices there, obviously.
Yeah, I think I'd have
Either one.
pretty like 40% exposure both ways,
Yeah.
honestly. And if you have a lean one way or the other, do it. I think Dricus is a little more likely to go for the finish. But that's just on paper,
Mm-hmm.
Giles got heavy hands. Giles can come here and pop him. So, I think they're both fine plays.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a pick 'em fight. My pick is Duplessis. But
all right, our next one is a featherweight bout between Ryan Hall and Ilia Topuria. Ryan Hall has a record of 8-1. He is coming off of a 4-win streak coming into this fight. In the UFC, he's gone 2-0. And then going up against Ilia Topuria, undefeated with a record of 10-0. In the UFC, he's gone 2-0. The odds have Topuria as the favorite, -260, and Ryan Hall as the underdog at +192. This is going to be a really good fight here as well. What do you think about this one?
Really excited about this one. Ryan Hall, I've been big on him for a long time. The performance against BJ Penn, just he's so exciting, so unorthodox. Like his Imanari rolls and the heel hooks, like he does on purpose what other fighters do, like as their last resort, like when they're about to die, and he gets it. One thing to keep in mind is like, I don't know, I don't cheat like in games. I don't cheat but if I was gonna fight Ryan Hall, I would make sure that like I was kind of sweaty. Like I would make sure my legs and feet were pretty sweaty. Like I'm not gonna like make sure that I rub my ankles and heels down before I fight the guy. He's kind of like, so it's similar to Jack Hermanson, where everyone thinks he's just gonna sub people. Like I'm like, no, he's got to get you while you're dry. He's getting guillotines and heel hooks, and like after 5 minutes, those don't play that well.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall, fits into that as well. I love the guy, but like Sal Rogers, like there's been fighters worse than Ilia Topuria. It's kind of like it's hard to describe, but like when it's like any jiu-jitsu guys will understand, people, men and women will understand that like, there's some things where you don't want to run away from them. You have to go into them. And that's really Ryan Hall's whole game. If you're running away, trying to pull your ankle away from him, you're dead. You're not walking right, like for a long time.
Yeah.
But if you just stay heavy and safe, like Sal Rogers did it, Ilia Topuria can stay heavy and safe on top. And on the feet, he's just going to be hammering him with hooks to the body and head. So, I put Ilia Topuria by KO in my crazy parlay at +210. The more I think about it, I'm a little worried that it's going to go to decision, but I think Ilia Topuria is a very safe parlay leg. Money's pouring in on him, but not too wild. He was like -250, now he's -270.
Yeah.
And the prices, I'm sure, Topuria is a big favorite, probably one of the more expensive. I want high exposure both ways on this fight. This fight is highly likely to end in a finish, for Ryan Hall. And Topuria, he's either going to win by knockout or he's going to have top ground control, which now pays off every minute you're on top, every second,
Yeah.
And he's just going to be standing up on the feet, just peppering him with hands. So Topuria, I think they're both great plays.
Yeah. And the prices there are going to be Hall at 7,100 and Topuria at 9,100. So exposure both ways on those for sure.
For sure. Topuria is one of the more expensive, but yeah, he's likely to finish. And if he wins, it's going to be decently high scoring. Ryan Hall's going to win by finish if he wins.
Right. Should we check up on chats real quick?
Yeah. Hall's not going to sub. Well, I didn't say he's going to sub. They're probably responding to. Well, so the thing is, one thing we have to keep in mind about these crazy props, and Chase, like you're like, nobody's submitting Ryan Hall, and I would agree. But the thing is, we've seen crazy shit. We've seen Jordan Levitt slam a guy, Kevin Holland slam the guy, I want to say it's something Oliveira. It's like Charles Oliveira, but that's not it exactly. Charlie on Tavares. He slammed him, and he taps out, right? You just see crazy things. You see crazy things where they're pounding them out, but the ref won't stop it, so they choke him out, and vice versa. So I'll just always keep that in mind with these insane props, one way or the other. And sometimes it's worth it. Like you're like, oh, Connor by knockout is minus 110, but Connor by or wouldn't be, but like in the inside the distance line is that close because people think, well, there's no way Connor's going to sub him. You just never know. Sometimes it's worth it to be safe and pick the inside the distance versus the prop. So you guys get the point.
Yeah.
But so that's the thing, like sometimes those props pay off wildly. Montana De La Rosa, we picked it, plus 1,200 to KO. We're like, she's not going to KO, no bitch. Well, yeah, but these refs, they're stopping it fast nowadays. Yeah. And all these women fighters are getting fighters in like a crucifix and landing a couple elbows, and the ref stops it. And it's like, oh my gosh, she just won by KO. Like, so. Yeah. It's just something to keep in mind on props. Sometimes crazy shit happens.
Definitely. All right.
Fight of the night. Sorry, somebody asked earlier who the fight of the night is. Oh. This is the fight of the night. Let's go.
Coming up. Yeah. All right. A welterweight bout between Niko Price and Michel Pereira. Niko Price at 14-4, 2 no contest. In the UFC, 6-4 with 2 no contest. Michel with 25-11, 2 no contest as well. UFC 3-2, 2 no contest. This fight, as you said, going to be one of the bangers of the night, fight of the night. Both really looking forward to this one. The line here is going to be Michel, the favorite, at minus 168, and Niko Price, the underdog, at plus 132. How are you seeing this one going?
Money's still coming in on Michel Pereira.
Either way.
So entertaining. My God, I wish I shouldn't bet on this because you just want to watch it and enjoy it. Right. But I'm big on Michel Pereira. Yeah. And I think Niko Price, even though these guys are both so exciting, and Niko especially is like really finish either way, whether he wins or loses, like even when there's like a DQ, like Niko just is like the guy that doesn't go to the scorecards, right? Mm-hmm. But I think Michel Pereira is just going to piece him up very much like he did Chaos Williams for 15 minutes. Pereira, if you don't know this guy, which if you're watching this, you fucking obviously know Michel Pereira. He's the type of guy who, like, if the guy's on the ground, he doesn't just kick his legs. He runs and jumps off the cage and does a moonsault and like slant and like he doesn't even land on the guy. He lands like a foot away. It doesn't matter. He's insane. He's a guy that does like somersaults and front, like walking out to the cage. He does like cartwheels and stuff mid-fight. He's just so exciting. Mm-hmm. The thing is, he's toned it down. He's found the perfect medium where he's still that exciting, but he's not being that ridiculous. 2 fights ago, he's just slapping the shit out of the guy. He kept you think Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz has slapped the guy? No, this was different. And it was I want to say like Zalim and Madaev. They had mad beef. They pushed each other at the weigh-ins and stuff. And I was like, oh no, because I was big on Michel Pereira, I had bets on him, and I was like, oh no, now he's gonna go in there all wild and be ridiculous and shit. And he went in there and he was super chill and he was literally just slapping the shit out of him. The thing to keep in mind is that I'm a little worried that the crowd will make.
It's interesting, yeah.
Because Zalim and Madaev
thinking about. Yeah,
cash it.
Yeah.
So before that, he lost to Diego Sanchez when he was killing him. And then Diego Sanchez, did what's now very common. I won't call it an Aljamain Sterling, but maybe I just did. So I got Michel Pereira. So Niko Price is great. Really have a ton of respect for him. He's so unorthodox. He's got 2 finishes from the bottom. One time from like hammer fist, one time from an up kick. He's like so exciting. I'll mention this. I think this fight could go to a draw because Niko Price is always getting points taken away. And these guys are both like super exciting, and Michel Pereira could gas. I could see Michel Pereira winning the first 2 rounds and then Niko Price putting it on him in the 3rd round. Mm-hmm. I think a draw here is not likely, but like possible. Most books will give you a draw at plus 5,000, but there's a couple that'll give it to you at plus 6,600. I'll sprinkle this at plus 6,600 for to go to a draw. Yeah. Because of fouls and because of gassing and like just the ability for somebody to win a 10-8 round here. Oh. And
as far as DFS,
God, such a good fight.
We've got Niko Price at 7,300 and Michel Pereira at 8,900.
Yeah, I want high exposure both ways. I think it's probably going to be extremely high scoring. There could be a finish. My pick is Pereira by decision. Yeah. So to be honest, at 8,900, he's not that high volume. There's better people for DFS, so take this with there's listen to Brady DFS and like the real experts on DFS. We do always typically come up plus money on DFS, but so I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I think 8,900 might be a little expensive for Pereira because I do think he'll probably win by decision. But Niko at that price is I think going to be a popular play, probably highly owned.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we're cooking.
All right, moving on to our next one here, a welterweight bout between Max Griffin and Carlos Condit. Max Griffin with a record of 17-8 in the UFC. He's gone 5-6. Going up against Carlos Condit, UFC vet here, record of 32-13 in the UFC. He's gone 9-9. Condit will have a slight height advantage here, about 3 inches, but they do have about the same reach. Both fighters coming off of 2 wins, and the odds here have Max Griffin as the favorite, -192, and Carlos Condit, the underdog, +150. What are you thinking here?
So I am picking Max, but I was a little more confident earlier in the week. Condit's looking good recently. He beat what seems like 2 cans, Court McGee and Matt Brown, except Matt Brown just came out and got a knockout, and Court McGee won his last fight too. Condit's looking pretty good. Also, the knock on Condit's always that. So, get this. In all 20 of his fights since he's been in WBC, if his opponent attempted a takedown, literally every single one of them got the takedown. He always accepted bottom position. But in the last couple of fights, in the Matt Brown fight, he was really active off his back. He was striking, going for submissions, and got up. And Matt Brown didn't want anymore. So it was he looked improved, but. Max Griffin, the reason everyone's on him is because he should have the finishing edge on the feet. He's really good in the clinch. He'll just he will elbow your ears off. Yeah. Just ask, Brahmaj, but he won't be able to hear you. God.
Oh, that was rough.
Yeah. And he's got good striking on the feet, good finishing ability, but the thing is his wrestling. He will take Carlos Condit down anytime he needs to. So, Max Griffin, I wanted to play him by decision because Condit's so durable. But I think, I don't know. I think he might just, if he can dice Condit up with some elbows from guard even, which I think he can and will, I think this fight could go I think you could get the TKO. So I just played Griffin money line.
Yeah. And DFS, do you play any of these guys? We've got Griffin at 8,700 and Condit at 7,500.
I think that's okay. Griffin, I thought he might be a tiny bit more pricey. I think he's an okay play. Yeah. Condit, if he wins, I don't think he's gonna submit Griffin. Sadly, if Condit won, I think it would just be that he was able to fight off some takedowns and strike, which I don't envision.
Yeah.
I think Griffin's okay value at that 8,700. And man, Condit's been looking good, but I just don't see it here.
Yeah. All right. Should we check our comments before we move on to the main card?
Yeah.
Just in case.
So we had folks talking about Pereira. Yep, Jessica I, Jessica I fan, but staying away from it. It's a tough fight. Yep.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
Yeah, just lots I tell you. So the comment section is just talking about Topuria and Hall. I get it. I'm so excited for that one. I'm so nervous for it. I even said
right after one another, Topuria, Hall, and Price and Pereira.
Yeah, literally both fights of the night candidates.
Yeah,
it's gonna be so good.
All right, let's move on to our main card here. Starting us off, it's a bantamweight bout between Sean O'Malley and Kris Moutinho. Kris Moutinho is stepping in on short notice here for his UFC debut. Although multiple fighters in the bantamweight division were willing to step up.
Yeah.
Kris,
tell them. Say it for the ones in the back.
This is what we're doing apparently. So
yeah,
here we go.
He's like,
yes, Kris Moutinho with a 9-4 record, never fought in the UFC, is going to go up against Sean O'Malley, 13-1, 4-1 in the UFC. So obviously wide money line here. Sean O'Malley at -1,000 and Moutinho at +580. And I I just don't see betting on this one because I would honestly like to see O'Malley lose at that kind of money.
Yeah.
Like,
it is insane.
And I don't know if it's who accepted the fight and denied the others, or if it was the UFC that like pushed this fight
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
To have a knockout or something on the card, you know?
That's a fair point. Yeah, like we can, like it's easy to criticize O'Malley, and I have, you know, but like the UFC also wants him. They don't want him fighting Ricky Simon. Like Ricky Simon was going to take the fight, but only at 145. He can't cut that weight at a short notice. Like, right. You know, it's just tough. It's a tough situation. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, what's cool though, giving O'Malley another highlight reel that we can show, you know, on his next pay-per-view, right?
Highlight reel on that, yeah.
Totally. So the thing is, like, we've seen a lot of short notice replacements over the last couple of years because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. MMA handicapping has never been so difficult, or, you know, like if you can get it, then they killed it. But there was never so many unknowns as there has been. Like, right. And everyone is just putting action in. Like it's been wild, right? And we've seen these terrible underdogs. So Charlie Ontiveros was a huge, you know, like Kevin Holland was minus 800 against Charlie Ontiveros. We talked about him earlier. Like we've seen some insane like situations where these guys come in short notice. I'll tell you this. Kris Moutinho is not that bad. He is not as bad as those. Like he had a good fight against Tony Gravely, who were huge on it. Like Tony Gravely is a parlay piece every time out. Until, you know, to a certain extent, there was like a title fight, and Tony Gravely, I think, finished him in the 4th or 5th round. It was after the 3rd. I can't recall, but he and it was grounded like you know, Kris Moutinho like went more than 3 rounds with Tony Gravely, who's just trying to take him down nonstop. You know, it's a very different stylistic matchup from Sean O'Malley, of course, but you know, this guy's not that big a scrub. He beat Damon Blackshear, who's like good. I lost money betting on Damon Blackshear recently. You know, like Kris Moutinho is not the worst short notice replacement we've seen, and Sean O'Malley is not the most safe, like wily old veteran. Like
you said, you don't have him in your parlays, even your wildest parlays.
Yeah, and like at minus 1,000, it just doesn't provide any value. Like, not to go down too different of a tangent here, but think about this. This might save a ton of you some money. Think about a parlay this way: you got 3 legs. The parlay works. It's like, okay, let's put the money on the first leg. If it wins, to put all that on the second. Okay, if it wins, to put all that on the third. So think about that. Think about if all your parlay legs won that night, would you put all of that money on Sean O'Malley at minus 1,000?
Come down to that.
Yeah, that's so it's like, am I going to bet my $800 to win 80? Yeah. Am I going to bet my $20 to win 2? Right. On Sean O'Malley? Is it worth putting Sean O'Malley in your parlay at minus 1,000 to win 10%? It's not. His foot, like the way these fucking like, you know, like New Jersey Bet Guru and these clowns that like don't know shit, but they hit these insane parlays is because they're putting Kris Moutinho in the parlays. Like Sean O'Malley lost, or he beat Andre Sukumtoth if Andre Sukumtoth had any idea just to stand up and make the ref make Sean O'Malley stand up, his foot was messed up, similar to like my god damn it, my boy out of he just lost because Anthony Smith messed his foot up. Who's the guy? I want to say no, it's not Jake Matthews. It's not Louis Kosei. It's the big old beast, the beast from
if you go to Australia. The chat, someone will say it.
Yeah.
Or someone will correct us in the comments.
Oh, the guy he was supposed to kill Anthony Smith recently, and he would have. And once Anthony Smith diced his leg up, he still was able to get takedowns. I'm like, yeah, bro, this is why we bet you. Like, you were supposed to be taking Anthony Smith down this whole time. Yeah. You finally do it now that your leg's all fucked up. But then after he couldn't stand it, it's like when you sit on the toilet too long and your leg's asleep. He couldn't he couldn't do it. Jimmy Crute, the Brute. I said the beast, the Brute. Yeah, Jimmy Crute. Yeah. So now I don't even remember what I'm. Oh yeah, so Sean O'Malley has those foot problems twice, the same way that Jimmy Crute did. Yeah. If Andre Sukumtoth made Sean O'Malley stand up, he wouldn't have been able to stand up the same way that Jimmy Crute couldn't stand up. The ref would have called it. But he lays on top of Sean O'Malley for the last minute and a half of the fight. Ridiculous. Sean O'Malley should have lost to Andre Sukumtoth, one of the worst fighters in the UFC. And then he comes out and loses to Chito Vera, a really good fighter. You know, Sean O'Malley is so talented, but so overrated. His foot is like you can't trust it. My God, like Kris Moutinho should be like plus 700 or something.
I agree. This line is a little insane.
Well,
like
it's insane. But at a minus 1,000 for Sean O'Malley, Kris Moutinho should be high. It's only So anyway, it's just ridiculous. Like it's a very close fight. Kris Moutinho is a striker. Like it would be, and Sean O'Malley wouldn't accept the fight if this guy was a wrestler. But I wish this guy was like a wrestler at plus 580. Oh my God, I'd hammer it. But he's a striker. He's a striker who leaves his head up high. Sean O'Malley's going to get the job done here. But my God, don't win a whole parlay and then put all of that money to win 10%
right
on Sean O'Malley. I hope that helps.
No, that definitely makes sense.
All right, let's go.
Did we talk about DFS there? It's probably, Sean O'Malley's at 9,500 and Moutinho was not updated yet, but he's going to be the cheapest price.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good play both ways because, Sean O'Malley could not be expensive enough, to be honest. He's going to knock this guy out.
Yeah.
I've got Sean O'Malley minus 250 KO. Yes.
That's
but,
not bad.
but not, and, but not hammering that. I think that's the only way you play Sean O'Malley. He's not going to win a decision here.
He plus 1,000.
Yeah, or minus 1,000. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. Exactly. So I think play Sean O'Malley minus 250 by KO, and 9,500. That's a fair price. He should pay that off. He should pay that off for you.
All right, we are moving on to our next one here. It is a women's bantamweight bout between Irene Aldana and Yana Kunitskaya. Aldana is going to a record of 12-6 here. UFC, she's 5-4. Kunitskaya with a record of 14-5, 1 no contest. And in the UFC, she's gone 4-2. This looks to be a pretty close fight here. Aldana was the favorite, and money has been moving in on Kunitskaya, and now they're just about the same. Aldana is still a slight favorite at minus 126, and Kunitskaya is at minus 102. I also did mention that Aldana does have a slight height advantage, but their reach is about the same as well. But how are you thinking this one's going to go?
It's interesting. Aldana's just kind of the more coordinated, bouncy fighter. If they play basketball, she's like a 2-guard. Kunitskaya is the same height, but she's just not as fluid, right? She moves like a big man, right? Like a big. The thing is that often bodes well for her. She's good at cage controlling. She beat Stoliarenko just by holding her against a cage all day. And that's how Aldana lost her last fight against Holly Holm. Holly Holm just held her up against a cage all day. Yeah. And but Kunitskaya is no Holly Holm, we know, right? Holly Holm trains with John Jones. Holly Holm is like a beast. She's so strong, so Holly Holm is just a different level, we know. But so Aldana. So the thing is, it's similar to the Brad. I got the Brad Riddell fight wrong last time versus Drew Dober, but we said in the video that if it gets late in that third round, Brad Riddell is going to be the more fluid one. So he's got that late finishing ability and that ability to win that third round on the judges' scorecards. That's Aldana here for sure. She's definitely got that fluidity. Early though, and often, Kunitskaya is going to try to make it greasy. She's really just smart and good at stealing rounds and just scoring. She's so where Aldana and these really good strikers, sometimes it's just a dance. And they're just out there thinking, and they're thinking 3 steps ahead. It's like chess, and it's beautiful. It's ballet. And then somebody just goes and holds them up against the cage for the last minute and a half because they're fucking thinking sometimes it is checkers. Sometimes it's just blocking and tackling, right? Sometimes it's not nuance and spinning moves. So it's a really interesting stylistic battle here where Kunitskaya is just gritty, meat and potatoes, and Aldana is. She's not just spinning and showy and glitter. Aldana will knock you out. But it is a really just interesting stylistic battle here. So early, I was on Kunitskaya. I got I think at plus 106 because of the honestly, it was as simple as she's going to hold her up against the cage. Yeah. The more I looked into it, I'm she's no Holly. But then I'm well, Kunitskaya does have this nice spinning strike. She's got the more flashy striking. So if she's holding her up against the cage a little bit, throwing some spinning techniques, gets a takedown or two, and all that Aldana is doing is throwing hands like a boxer. Hey, yeah, I think Kunitskaya can squeak out that decision. Aldana has a 84% takedown defense, and God, yeah, no. You're saying wow,
right off
the
top.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and it's wow because but it's highly misleading because she hasn't fought anybody, and Betchko is like just going in so like pathetically squeaking for like go watch the finishing sequence against Betchko, and it's the most pathetic thing you've ever seen. Sorry, Betch. I know you're watching. But so it's like her 84% takedown defense is incredibly misleading. So my pick is Kunitskaya, but honestly now I think Aldana could go in there and look like a -200 favorite if she's just in there styling. So I just think it's a pass. Half the people are going to be right, half the people are going to be wrong.
Exactly.
And Vegas says thank you both. And but I liked Kunitskaya at plus money, and I snagged it.
Do you think it'll be, high volume enough to play in DFS with Aldana at 8,300 and Kunitskaya at 7,900?
Interesting. Kunitskaya could get some top control to score enough. I think Aldana at 8,200 is an okay play because she's got that finishing ability. But there's only a couple of those knockouts. But so she's always in there. She's always like looking like she's really a skilled striker, but it's only a couple of knockouts that we all give Aldana so much respect for. So
that's true.
It's probably a pass on both. It's easy to say pass because it's a low probability of finishing. I think it's probably a pass.
Yeah. All right, moving on to our next one here. It's going to be a heavyweight bout between Tai Tuivasa and Greg Hardy. Tuivasa has a record of 12-3 in the UFC. He's gone 5-3, and Greg Hardy with a record of 7-3, 1 no contest. UFC, he's gone 4-3 with that 1 no contest. Hardy does have a pretty big height and reach advantage here, but Tuivasa definitely has the cardio advantage. Lines have Tuivasa as the favorite, -142, and Hardy as the underdog, +112. How are you thinking this one's going to go?
Greg, they said, Greg Hardy, do you want to fight Michel Pereira? He said, I don't know her, but fuck yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I always make a Greg Hardy joke because he was a piece of shit. So, Greg Hardy,
oh, God.
Isn't that good? That was a good one, right?
Good.
It's
just, do I laugh or
I didn't tell you.
Am I going to go to hell for laughing?
I didn't tell you about that one.
No, you didn't.
I had that one lined up all day just in the chamber.
I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable.
You all know that's funny, and you've never.
It's funny.
None of you have heard anyone else say that. Oh no, he's not fighting Michel Pereira. He's fighting Tai Tuivasa. Wait, we'll edit this out. We won't. God damn it.
Oh no, the live stream.
Well, that doesn't play at all. Everyone's like, what is he talking about? Anyway. Well, so Ty's a woman's name. All right, Anyway, I'm on Tai Tuivasa here. I got him by decision. It's an official play on Instagram, +440. Both of these guys are decision monsters. Everyone thinks Greg Hardy's like just this wild finisher, but most of his fights like go over 2 rounds, and same with Tai. So, Tai, I think is going to have the absolute striking edge. I just can't believe how. God damn it! That was so terrible. Well, fine. Whatever. I don't care.
It's fine.
He said
it was a good joke. He
said, "You want to fight on the card with Michel Pereira?" He said, "Yeah." All right, it still plays.
It was a good joke. It was
just fight Greg Hardy.
Yeah, they're on the same card.
Yeah, they're on the same card.
Yeah, we'll move on.
So Greg Hardy, he gasses. We all know it's like this almost seems too easy. Greg Hardy's the bigger dude here, though. Like, so Tai seems bigger when you just look, when you watch them fight, when you imagine them, or maybe it's just me, but like you actually have to like really look at the tape and the stare downs and stuff to know like how big Greg Hardy is compared to him. But and Greg Hardy has done a better job at being active. So back in the day, he was just first round knockout or bust, gassing, but he's done a better job of being active and being more I won't say likely to win a decision, but like actually being in play, right?
Right.
But against Topuria, he was outlanding Topuria, but then he just gassed and Topuria got him. Like, thank goodness, because we were all over that. So everyone thinks this fight's going to end inside the distance. The fight to go the distance plus 250, I think, is actually a really solid play. I've got Ty plus 440 to win by decision, but I think this fight to go to decision plus 250 is really solid.
Yeah.
And this, it's like, oh, two heavyweight strikers. This screams DFS, like two things you want: strikers and heavyweights in DFS.
Sometimes it's not that.
Yeah, like I think this one could be a little low volume. Like Ty's gonna have the edge. I think Ty's just better everywhere. And I think once they realize that and they figure that out, they're both gonna be like, like let's just ride this 7.5 minutes out. Like I don't think Greg doesn't like go crazy in the second half of fights or anything. Mm-hmm. And Ty has a nice, does a nice job of like lulling people into his game. I thought he won that Carlos Felipe fight because he just lulled Carlos into his game and those just crazy boxing exchanges. Like if Greg does that with Ty, he's gonna kill him. Tuivasa has been training with Daniel Cormier, and ever since then he's been on a tear.
That's true.
That includes the Carlos Felipe fight that he lost, but he looked great. Like he's just a different fighter. He looks trim. Every fight he has better skills, better cardio. Big on Ty. I don't really think there's. I feel like this one's just simple to break down. I do feel like Greg Hardy's kind of knockout or bust, and I said that used to be the narrative, and it's not anymore. But in this fight, it is. He's not going to win a decision against Tai Tuivasa. Ty's going to just piece him up. And
he doesn't have that cardio.
He doesn't, and he just doesn't have the wherewithal.
Yeah.
And honestly, if Ty has to get a takedown, I know that he will. Mm-hmm. I know that Ty can get a takedown here.
Yeah.
Tai Tuivasa plus 440.
Yeah. And what was the plus 440 prop?
By decision.
Oh, by decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
But honestly, the fight to go to decision at plus 250.
Yeah.
I really like that. The over 2.5. I love it.
And then DFS, we've got Tuivasa at 8,400 and Hardy at 78.
Those are both good prices. I just mentioned that, like, it's, heavyweight strikers, you think it's just a spam, put them in every lineup. But at that price, fuck, yeah, you might.
Terrible.
No, yeah. So, yeah, like, I'm just okay at, just okay at DFS.
Okay.
Listen to better experts, but hopefully that helps. Like, some people just be putting these guys in every lineup. I bet this fight's, like, going to be, like, 30% ownership on both sides. Mm. I think that's a little much. Yeah.
All right, moving on to our co-main event here, a welterweight bout between Gilbert Burns and Stephen Thompson. Burns has a record of 19-4. In the UFC, he's gone 12-4. Stephen Thompson with a record of 16-4, 1 draw. And in the UFC, he's gone 10-4, 1 draw. Stephen Thompson does have quite a bit of a height and reach advantage over Burns here, and he is favorited in the odds at minus 168, and Burns at plus 132 as the underdog. What are you thinking about this one? I know you're on Stephen Wonderboy.
We got Wonderboy on the TV right here.
We do.
We're just playing, like, it's just playing embedded and countdown and stuff. So what's interesting, I got Stephen Thompson at like minus 138, minus 140 something. Money doesn't start pouring in on these fighters until like the last fight ends, right? So like, I've been putting Stephen Thompson in parlays for a long time.
Yeah.
Once the last fight ends, once like this fight card approaches, and all the experts start putting out their picks and stuff, money starts pouring in on these guys. And Stephen Thompson went all the way down to like minus 170 something. Now money started coming back in on Burns, and I swear to God, it's because Stephen Thompson looks a little scrawny in the countdown video. Like he's out there, he just, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but when I looked at him, I was like, oh fuck, I have that guy in like a million parlays, and then I was like, that makes sense. Money's now pouring in on Gilbert, because once people looked at this, so actually Stephen Thompson was like a plus 140 underdog, and immediately once that line came out, money poured in on Stephen Thompson and became a favorite. He came all the way down to like 140, And by the time, so you can get that like on those early books, like MyBookie, BetUS, whatever. But like on DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, and PointsBet, when they came out, Stephen Thompson was like a minus 138 favorite. I was hammering that, put it in everything. Now, and then like once, people took a look, like I said, money poured in on Thompson again. But I swear to God, once that countdown came out, Thompson, he just doesn't look that shredded. He just is looking like a little, not flabby, he just looks a little like scrawny. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm just like worried because I have him in a lot of parlays. But
yeah,
the Stephen Thompson has just world-class takedown defense. I don't think Gilbert Burns is going to take him down. I literally see zero path for victory, zero path to victory for Gilbert Burns here.
Yeah.
Thompson, Gilbert Burns is really good. He has a positive striking differential. Like just barely, but it's a positive striking differential, and he has power. So you think when I was a little surprised when I saw that he has a positive striking differential, because I would expect him to have negative and still be fine because he just has so much pop. Of course, Stephen Thompson has like a really good positive striking differential. It's like plus 1.4. He's landing 1.5 more punches per round, per minute, than his opponents, and that's like really significant. He's just out there peppering people. World-class takedown defense. There's nobody that really has exposed it, I guess. So like back in the day, Matt Brown got him down. Woodley got him down, but he popped right back up. Like Matt Brown's really the only fighter that got him down and like kept him down. Gilbert Burns is not going to like hold him down. Gilbert Burns is not going to just walk through him and knock him out.
Yeah.
I'm just a little concerned. I'm just like projecting my concern because I've been putting Stephen Thompson in these wild ass parlays that you don't ever expect to hit. A couple of them are live. Need Stephen Thompson to win here.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win. Oh, I'll tell you this. So Gilbert Burns struggled with Dan Hooker at 155. And, we know that Gilbert Burns is better at 170. So you're like, well, he was cutting too much weight. But I'm just, Dan Hooker's a similar tall fight. Like, Jensen, he's a similar tall style. Then Gilbert Burns is struggling with Dan Hooker. I just, like, I have no idea why anyone would be putting money on Gilbert Burns here.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And as far as DFS, what are you thinking here? Burns at 7,700 and Thompson at 8,500.
Man, but I guess Gilbert was kind of a good play there because I think he only wins by finish. He's definitely not beating Stephen Thompson by decision.
Right.
Unless he was able to lay on him, which no one ever has been able to. Everyone goes in that fight and be like, oh, if I could just get Stephen Thompson down, I'm gonna... Like, no one has been able to lay on Stephen Thompson, including the best wrestlers at the welterweight division. So if Gilbert Burns wins, it's by a crazy knockout, which I don't envision happening. So kind of think it's a pass on both. Stephen Thompson might be a good cash play because I really am confident in him, and I think that's a fair price. Yeah.
All right. Should we check our chat just once more before we move on to this main one?
Wonder Boy, son. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. We got some Wonder Boy love.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yep. He's one so. Yeah. Yeah. Wonder Boy love. Let's go.
Okay. Let's move on to our main event here. We all know what it is. Lightweight bout between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor, number 3. So September 2014, McGregor beat Poirier round 1 KO. Then back in January of this year, Poirier beat McGregor round 2 KO.
You had to bring that up, huh?
I'm sorry. Had to tear the scab off.
Yeah.
We know both these guys have been in the UFC a long time here. Dustin Poirier with a record of 27-6, got 1 no contest. UFC 18-5 with that 1 no contest. Conor McGregor 22-5 in the UFC. He's been 10-3. If we know anything about this fight, we know it's going to be entertaining, and we know it's probably going to end inside the distance in a very entertaining way. So what are you thinking will happen here? It's wanted to mention the odds. Dustin Poirier is actually a slight favorite, minus 124, and McGregor at minus 102. I don't know necessarily how those lines started, but I'm sure you do.
McGregor started as a favorite.
I would assume. Yeah.
Yep, McGregor started as a favorite. Because,
you can't discredit that last fight.
Yeah. Because, like, all you got to do is, like, learn how to check a calf kick, right? And he's going to come out here and torch. All we need is karate stance Conor. Yeah. So, the bookies were like, Conor started out last time as minus 184. That's why it lost so much on him. Because, like, when he was minus 184, I was like, he's going to be a minus 400 by the time fight starts. And I was like, I'll just cash out all those. So I was just hammering him and everything, had a million parlays with him. But then I was like, no. But then I did have faith. I didn't cash him out. I had faith in him. I thought, but he started as minus 84, minus 184. That's what the bookies put him at last time. Mm-hmm. And then there was like all kinds of news. Like, so some book, that was the early books. Even like FanDuel had that though, interestingly. Normally FanDuel never has anything early. Then like my bookie came out like, the odds have been released. Conor's minus 225. And all the lines moved to minus 225. He ended up being like minus 355. Anyway, so, we beat the line movement. And like many smart people say, it's about cashing tickets, not beating lines, right? But so this time, the bookies were, again, Conor was like minus 120. Dustin was like, plus 100. Money's been pouring in on Dustin.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the last fight. We're going to talk about their durability versus power. We're going to talk about the motivation. We're going to talk about rematches and the historical trends in rematches. And we're going to talk about the calf kicks, right? So, I'll tell you this. Since 2016, Dustin Poirier is 7-1. He lost to Khabib. And he put on a great performance. He put on a great performance. You go watch that Khabib versus Dustin Poirier fight. He was putting on him and Khabib actually had to choke him out. Khabib choked out Conor by like a neck crank. Like Dustin Poirier's fight against Khabib was really solid. Yeah. And everyone trains their best. Everyone does their best against Khabib because they train their hardest they ever have, right? But Dustin's 7-1 since 2016.
Yeah.
All right. His since he fought Conor the first time, and Conor had the little, it's not a man bun, but it was like a cornrow twist.
Yeah.
The cornrow twist. He's 11-2 since that fight. He only lost to Michael Johnson and Khabib. So Conor is 3-4 in his last 7 fights. He beat Cerrone, which I think we could. Sorry, don't fuck us up.
No, don't.
Donald, he lives close enough.
I don't agree with that statement.
At
least on my part. I don't agree with it on my part, at least.
I would at least be like Chris Moutinho odds. Okay. He beat Eddie Alvarez by KO with an amazing performance. We'll talk more about that pull counter.
Yeah.
Dustin also knocked out Eddie Alvarez. And he beat Nate Diaz by decision. He's 3-4 in his last 7. Beating Nate by decision, knocking out Eddie Alvarez in an amazing performance, and beating Cerrone. Okay. That's not that good. So I hope you get the gist. Dustin Poirier, 11-2. All right. The last fight was really interesting. So Conor was just coming out, wanting to throw the leg kicks. So in his last few fights, he threw like 4 leg kicks in a row against Nate Diaz. Like Conor wants to come out throwing the leg kicks. It was just such an interesting narrative. But right away, Dustin takes him down. Conor just scoots his butt back to the cage, pops right back up. And it's like, oh my God, thank God. I have just so many parlays on Conor. I'm like, thank God. He just scooted right back up to the fence, popped right back up. For the next 2.5 minutes, they're cage controlling, but it's not just Dustin holding him up against the cage. Like Conor they were kind of switching around, and Conor was landing the shoulder strikes that he just had finished running with. And then he would land these vicious ones, and Dustin would be like, oh, I like that. And Dustin would throw one, and Conor would throw another vicious one, covering 18 inches of distance, slamming it. And it was not nice. And so interestingly, Conor recently was like, oh, here's a hot take. I was dusting you up in the clinch, like like it's true. Conor was piecing him up with those shoulder strikes and stuff. The thing is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who wins those exchanges. Dustin got him to wrestle, scoot up, get up, clinch. Dustin got first round Conor out of the way.
Right. When he has all that fire.
Yeah. So what's he do? He knocks out. He can knock you out fast, right? So it's like
keeps him at bay that first round.
Exactly.
And then the rest is going to be easier than that first round.
Exactly right. It's all downhill. It's all You're putting some water in the basement. But Conor's like, ask your coaches. You got messed up in the clinch. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So it's really interesting. So like that the second half of the first round, after 2.5 minutes, they're striking. Conor's putting it on him.
Yeah.
And Dustin's taking it. And Dustin finally starts landing the calf kick. Second round, you're feeling good about Conor. You're like, oh, you just saw the worst. He took him down. Conor pops right back up. Dustin tries putting him on the cage. Conor just puts those shoulder strikes on him, and he's fine. And then in the striking, Conor's putting that left hand on him. You feel really good as a Conor better, like going into round 2. But starting round 2, like the calf kick just could not miss. It's just peppering him. It's everywhere. You can't avoid it. It starts affecting him. With the finishing sequence, he Dustin was ready for like the pull counter. So when Dustin, the famous moment of Dustin pointing at him, it's because Conor just wants to stay away, and then once you extend, he does a pull counter left too, and Dustin was ready for it and lands like a right uppercut and points at him. He was so ready for it. That's how Conor knocked down Nate Diaz 3 times in the first 7 minutes of their second fight.
Yeah.
All Conor was doing was throwing those low kicks, and then as soon as Nate would punch, he would do a pull counter too and knock him down. That's how he knocked out Eddie Alvarez. That's, with a sick combo.
Yeah.
That's how he knocked out Jose Aldo in the first 15 seconds. This is just a pull counter too. Dustin saw it, was ready for it, lands an uppercut, points at him.
Yeah.
And you can see it in Conor's face that he's like, shit.
Yeah, I studied your tape.
Yeah. It's so like magical. It's like why it's the best sport in the world.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's not even chess. It's like chess times. It's like chess
violent
to the
chess.
power of 10. Violent chess, violent ballet, violent chess. Like it's so magical. And Dustin, you could see how happy he was. He trained for that for so long, and you could see in the Conor's face he was a little defeated. He's like, "Oh shit! Well, that's my move. I just kick him, and then pull counter left too." And and Dustin had the answer. So then those calf kicks are just paying off. There's one where Conor finally stumbles, and Dustin saw it and just rushes him. The same finishing ability like the Eddie Alvarez versus, when Dustin finishes Eddie Alvarez, as soon as he gets him hurt, it's just against the cage. And interestingly, in the second Conor versus, Nate fight, 7 minutes in, Conor's like running away. Watch that Conor versus Nate fight again. Literally, you don't remember how much Conor was just running away. Everyone remembers Conor piecing him up, knocking him down, winning a decision. Conor was running literally with his back to Nate for so many instances of that fight. He was gassed. Conor rides a bike and everyone's like, oh my God, Conor's training. No, literally, Dustin Poirier is a lock. He's a lock, and it makes me so like, my God. So we're about to move.
Yeah.
This is the last UFC card we're about to watch here. This is the last video we're taping here. We're about to move to a new house.
Yes. About to have a new background. Still going to be books or something
We'll have some books. But it would be a different house if we didn't, how heavy we were on Conor.
Yep.
And oh my God, it's so upsetting. He's so fucking unreliable. He's so unreliable.
Yeah. If you've been following us and watching our videos, you know how heartbreaking that last McGregor versus Poirier was.
Yeah, we had months of parlays of Conor in it. We're like,
But you made some amazing memes to make fun of yourself. So
thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's true. All right. So the durability and the power. A couple quick points here. So Conor used to just take punches to land punches. He can't do that anymore. He got finished by Floyd, standing. Yeah. But he got finished for real by Poirier and got 2 nice ground and pound punches on the bottom.
Right.
That chin, Conor had a legendary, legit chin, and you cannot trust that anymore. That's a significant thing to consider. All right. So everyone thinks Poirier doesn't have finishing power. All of his finishes are cumulative. Just like the Eddie Alvarez fight, just like the Conor fight. But so you just can't trust that anymore. Conor has the second highest finishing rate ever behind Cody Garbrandt, ahead of, I want to say Francis, but it's not, Rumble Johnson. It's Cody Garbrandt, believe it or not, Conor, Rumble Johnson. We know that finisher that Conor is, that knockout guy that he is. Yeah. He's had 13 fights in the UFC. He's knocked down the opponent in 10 of them.
Yeah.
He didn't knock down Khabib, he didn't knock down Dustin, sadly. And he didn't knock down Max Holloway. He beat Max Holloway's ass, but he didn't knock him down. Max is such a stud. But in his other 10 fights, Marcus Brimage, Diego Brandao, fucking Dustin the first time. Eddie Alvarez, Jose Aldo, Chad Mendez, Nate Diaz. That's pretty good. You got it.
Both of them.
There's 2 more of them. Yeah, but you guys get the point. So, he's got that power, but you can't trust anymore because of the chin. He's been finished. You can't trust that chin anymore. The motivation. It's a weird dynamic here because everyone's like, oh, well, Conor doesn't care. Conor's rich. Conor doesn't care.
Yeah, the motivated McGregor.
Yeah, motivated McGregor. But, Conor is the one that doesn't need the money. You're like, whoa, he's made enough money from fighting. No, he's not made enough money from fighting. He's made way more money from whiskey than he's made from fighting. It's true. He bought this bar in Ireland for 20 million, and that bar's worth $100 million. And Proper 12 got bought out by a private equity firm.
Yeah.
It's not about the Mayweather money. It's not about the Nate this. He really does fight because he wants to.
Yeah.
Whereas Dustin Poirier has he's just barely making it. He's killing it, but he says he doesn't love fighting. He just does it because he's good at it and it pays the bills and it helps the Good Fight Foundation. And God bless you, Dustin. But it's weird that everyone just spams Conor's not motivated and Dustin is. I don't know. Why don't you listen to them? Because Dustin doesn't seem that motivated. Still, the pick is Dustin, right? You all hear me, right? So the motivation is just a weird thing here. All right, rematches. This bodes in Dustin's favor. All right, in the so back in the day, in the tournaments, it was just Ken Shamrock versus Royce Gracie, and back in the day, it doesn't matter. In the unified rules era, the modern UFC era, there's been 12 trilogies in the UFC. 8 of those they were tied 1-1, right? That's what we're talking about here. Conor and Dustin are tied 1-1. So of those 8, the fighter who won the second fight, won 6 of the 8. It's very rare that the person who won the first fight, and then lost, came back and won the third one. It's extremely rare. It's a similar thing of in rematches. The younger fighter, almost always wins the rematch. All these trends as far as rematches go in Dustin's favor.
Right. It's trended to go loss, win-win.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly right. Loss
in the winner's favor. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Looking at it from Poirier. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's because Conor had more experience. Dustin was a little pea-head, got knocked out. But now, Dustin's got that hot sauce.
He's coming off of that win.
Let's go.
And that's got to be, even for someone as cocky as McGregor has got to be getting in his head a little bit.
Oh, I think your dog friend's about to be here. Yep. So yeah, it is a very interesting dynamic, and that's why there's so many variables here. And it's like, just don't bet it. Just watch it. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like Vegas just wants you to bet this. Just don't. Like, but Dustin's the pick.
Yeah.
Calf kicks. Last point here. So Dustin's like, I'm not training to throw calf kicks. I'm expecting them. I'm training to defend calf kicks.
Yeah.
In the second, as we mentioned earlier, the second Diaz-McGregor fight, McGregor was throwing nothing but calf kicks. Nothing but calf kicks. I'm not exaggerating. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Then once Diaz extends, finally, then kind of tries to throw the pull counter too.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just throwing calf kicks. And he gasses. It's just... and the other, so it's like Poirier, when he beat Gaethje, but Gaethje was peppering those leg kicks. So Gaethje talked with and worked with Eddie Alvarez, like, oh, all you got to do is like he can't return from that leg damage so quickly. Just pepper Dustin with those leg kicks. And if you watch that Eddie Alvarez versus Dustin the second fight, he was trying to pepper Dustin with those leg kicks, and Dustin just starts picking him up and just starts piecing him up with the straight punches. You can't just go in there and throw calf kicks at Dustin Poirier. He just is too smart and too gritty. Yeah. He just picks up the leg, takes it, and punches you in the face twice. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're not throwing those calf kicks anymore.
It's too experienced, but like
and he's just too like dirty.
Yeah,
Louisiana baby.
He knows how to block and counter that.
Yeah. So the thing is, so why did Karate Stance Connor go away? Oh, we all love Karate Stance Connor. We all love him to throw those body kicks. Oh, after he lost to Dustin Poirier, he shows this footage of him hitting heavy bag. Why did it go away? Because it gets him taken down. And he's not going to go in there all Karate Stance wild. He's going to get taken down. Dustin Poirier is going to win.
Yeah.
And it sucks for the UFC. It sucks for MMA. But Dustin Poirier is in my wild ass parlay to win 97,000.
Yeah. And DFS, I don't believe we've talked about. Poirier at 81. They're both at 8,100. Poirier and McGregor.
You literally have to have them both in 50%.
Just stack them, right?
Stacking,
no?
That's an interesting question. So if you're playing 10 lineups, you want them both in half.
Right.
Stacking, though, is an interesting question. So you only want to do this typically in cash games. So, and you want to do it in high-scoring fights where, like, Max Holloway lands 300 strikes and his opponent lands 150, and you're like,
right.
oh,
so maybe not in a knockout fight, or like in an early ending fight like this.
Correct. This one, so you typically don't stack fights that you expect to end in a knockout.
Okay.
But that's such a fair price for both.
Like either one, like yeah.
Yeah, I kind of don't hate it, and everyone's like expecting the knockout, but now the money's just pouring in the over. Like we mentioned, the over 1.5 is like is like 2-1 favorite now. It's like -2 something to go over 1.5, even though their last two fights average is like 4 minutes. You know, where you need the 1.5 to go 7.5. Their first fight ended in 1 minute. Second fight ended in 7 minutes and 32 seconds.
Yeah,
2 seconds fucking over those under 1.5 bettors, and
that's rough.
Yeah, that's right. But so it's like, oh, how can you bet the over when both their fights ended so fast? Well, it's because like most rematches don't go the way the first fight goes. Right. A lot of fights. You look at Stipe, like there's just so many rematches where one fight ends in a first round knockout and the second one goes to a decision or vice versa. So you expect that like a law of averages to come into play. You expect that the change of coaching to come into play. Like I'm not going to go get knocked out. I'm going to play this safe. Right. There's lots of variables that make a fight go different than the first iteration. So the over 1.5 is an extremely popular play. Still, I think this is definitely like to end inside the distance like -450. If you want just like an extremely safe parlay, I was like, well, I guess play Sean O'Malley at -900 and this fight not to go to the distance at -450, and I guess Zhalgas at -400. And now you've like made yourself this like extremely like greasy even money parlay.
Yeah.
This fight to not go the distance plays into that at -450. For that reason, I think you're spamming this on DFS.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, speaking of spamming, I just want to spam you all with love. Oh
Thank
my
you all
God.
for tuning in. Thank
Jesus,
you for
let's
commenting.
go.
We appreciate all of you. Did you want to do any
Future parlays? Yeah. So we're big on Amanda Nunes. At minus 700. But remember that it's like you should just be doing that in like little things like
right?
you don't want to do a crazy long parlay with Amanda Nunes as the last leg. Because
Right.
again, it's like, would you do all that and then put all that money to win 15% of it on Amanda Nunes? Like,
Right.
yes, maybe. Right. So, but like what you want to do, the way you get ahead is these even money plays where it's like, okay, I'm picking the Suns -6 at -110.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pop Amanda Nunes in it. And now it's plus 120.
Yeah.
That is how you parlay. That's how you use those future. But other than that, and when you have free bets, and when you have like a risk-free bet, when you're trying to go wild, then you're gonna pop in Thiago Santos. Our dog's gonna puke if she doesn't stop. You pop in Thiago Santos at -160. You pop in all these futures, and that's how we hit these wild-ass, sick-ass parlays. But it's like, it's typically when you have a reason. When you place a parlay, the house expects to win 30% of your money. When you place a straight bet, the house expects to win 5% of your money.
Yeah.
Like parlays are how they build the shit. But if you know what you're doing, if you place in the super locks, then you can get ahead. But most of the time it pays off. It has cost us big time on the Conor fight, on Curtis Blades, but most of the time it pays off big time. Yeah. But for so advice is don't play parlays. Don't play parlays at all.
Yeah.
At all. At all. And you think about it from that lens, would I put all this money on Sean O'Malley to win 10%? No.
Yeah.
We love you. Oh, my God.
I think that's a wrap. There's a lot of info.
My God.
A lot of amazing info stuffed into one video there for you guys. Did we miss any chats? I think we are.
Oh, there's a little arrow.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for commenting. Please give us some likes and subscribe if you're not already.
Tell your friends.
Help us get to the top there. Always turn up and tune in with us. And yeah, anything else we want to mention?
Follow us on IG
this weekend, you guys.
Good luck. I'm sure y'all do already. That's right here. But follow us on IG. Free UFC bet picks.
Yes. And yeah, thank you all for turning up and tuning in. We appreciate you all. We'll see you next time. Good luck this weekend. Bye.